Heyo, and what is up, gang? Thank you for checking out Sledgehammer TV tonight. We have waited for this day for a very long time. We've screamed for it. We've prayed to God for a new draft, for something to make the WWE not feel as shitty as it's used to feeling. We wanted new. We wanted different. We asked for this, you guys. We asked for this. They turned around and they gave it to us like an apple pie, right in the face. But once they smashed it in your face, you realize that the inside was not delicious apple filling with caramel and cinnamon and sugar and all the goodness. It was just a big pie full of shit, as usual. And we are here to talk about it because it gets a whole lot worse. Right here and right now, my name is Nick Nightmare, and you are watching the Sledgehammer Wrestling Show's SmackDown Live WWE Draft Special. Oh, man. Let's do it.
The Sledgehammer Wrestling Show.
Be careful what you wish for, right? That is a saying that is true, and it was proven true tonight as the first night of the WWE's 2019 draft took place on Friday Night SmackDown, and it was a complete and total disaster for a myriad of reasons, which we are about to go over tonight. Every single thing wrong with this show, and my God, there are so many things. Not the least of which is to mention that all we got tonight was pretty much a bunch of rematches, which has been the same old song and dance on every WWE main roster program. Rematch after rematch after rematch because they don't know what to do. They have all their attention focused in on this draft that they're just going to, you know what, just get the card from last week, throw a few matches from last week, and that's it. We don't need to do anything special. We got to focus on the draft. We're going to let everybody know who's available in the draft. And then what we're going to do is we're going to have the WWE draft. And we're going to actually reveal the draft in the order of the list that we put on social media just a few days before tonight's epic WWE draft. What? Let me run that back for you in case you didn't understand my verbiage. Some clown put together a list. There are some stupid rules to this draft. And there are certain superstars eligible on certain nights. I don't understand it. It's to allow Fox and USA equal share at equal superstars. What? This is a draft. What is this? You can only draft these guys, and now you can only draft these guys. And you know what ends up happening? You release the list of the people that are available. And now we all know everybody that's going to be picked on this night because these are the only people that are available. But to make it worse, you literally went in order. In the literal order. The first 12 picks on this night were exactly from that list. So either some idiot somewhere took the draft and posted it by mistake, or they really just had a brain lapse and really fucked this up. They put a spoiler on the internet without us knowing it was a spoiler. And we are watching it happen, and we are watching it unfold, and I just can't believe it. It's happening right before my eyes. And it was all over social media. We were all talking about it, and it's all we could talk about. And then all of a sudden, they switched up a few people. They didn't do anything interesting with this draft. They didn't bring up any cool names from NXT. They didn't bring us any new or exciting debuts or returning superstars to shake things up again. They did nothing of the sort. You know what they did? They had Stephanie McMahon come to be the mediator of this thing. Why not Bischoff and Heyman? What was the point of hiring these two monkeys? To do nothing? Aren't they the representatives? They are the executive directors of the each respective shows. Wouldn't that be the guy that you would want to be making the announcements for the shows? No, we got to have Stephanie McMahon, which is always a negative. Always. No matter what she's doing. Who the hell wants that? What the hell? They got to stick their noses into everything that's big, right? We always got to have a McMahon around. That's not even the worst of it. It's not even the worst of it. We had dueling war rooms. We had a Fox room, and we had a USA room, and we had 2 different sets of monkeys in each room trying to make me believe that they are sitting there making moves and trying to decide who's doing what. We're going to make strategic decisions, and we're going to do this and that. It's cute. It's cute that you want me to believe that these networks have anything to do with the picks and anything. All this is just another scapegoat for Vince McMahon. That's the only reason we have Bischoff and Heyman, so that they can deflect the blame to them. And now we could deflect the blame onto the networks. Vince McMahon was nowhere to be seen. He had nothing to do with this show. And he can automatically go, well, I had nothing to do with it. This was the networks. Ha 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 ha. So if we're unsatisfied, we can't blame Vince. You could blame somebody, though. You could blame the asshole that put the wrong list online. That's the first person you could blame. And you could blame whoever thought of having the dueling war rooms. How stupid was that? What are they fucking cheering for? Can somebody explain to me why they're cheering every time their pick was announced, as if they were just surprised? Like they just won the lotto? SmackDown Live's gonna get Roman Reigns. And then the whole Fox War Room was like, yeah, woo, oh my God, we got Roman Reigns, whoa. Didn't you fucking pick him, you idiots? What are they cheering for? Did their pick have to be approved by Vince McMahon? Did it go down to somebody that had to give it their stamp of approval so that, you know, does Roman get a chance to rebut? Did they have to wait for Roman to be like, yeah, you know what? I'm going to stay here on SmackDown Live. Good job, Fox. You can celebrate now. Pop open a little bit of the bubbly. What are they cheering for? They made the picks. Am I crazy? No, we gotta watch all these stupid extras in the back fumbling with papers and dropping pencils all over the place. Acting like shit's going down. They're getting upset. The only time we've seen them get upset is when they didn't get Alexa Bliss. Fox didn't get Alexa Bliss, and you've seen the War Room collectively. Oh, that was the only time they were mad the whole night. Fox was actually happy. They announced that Natalya was going to Raw, and then they cut to the Fox room, and they were all like, yeah, we don't have to fucking deal with Natalya. This is awesome. They wanted to do something interesting. You want to have your fucking war rooms? Why not let them go to war? And then you can use that to book your show. And you can do something like, well, Fox and USA both want Cesaro and Kevin Owens. Neither one of them are going to back down from they both want it. And that's where you have Bischoff and Heyman go, well, you know what? We'll settle this the old-fashioned way. This is a fucking wrestling show, by the way. Let's have a wrestling match. Cesaro versus Kevin Owens, they get to pick. The loser goes to the other show. Hey, something interesting happened at the draft. But we got none of that. We got a bunch of apes in a newsroom acting like idiots, pretending like they're not making their own picks. That would be like me choosing a new pair of shoes, right? I go to the store, I go to Payless, and I see a nice pair of sneakers. And I buy that fucking pair of sneakers for myself. And then I wrap it up in a fucking gift bag. And I bring it home. And I put it on my table. And I take out the tissue paper. And I open up my brand new shoes in the box. And I'm like, oh my God, look at these shoes. They're amazing. I can't believe I got these shoes. It's the same thing. It's the same thing. And the mistakes don't stop there. We had a whole bunch of matches tonight that meant absolutely nothing. The one match that everybody was talking about, Seth Rollins, in his first appearance since the Hell in a Cell debacle, versus Roman Reigns. The winner's brand gets first pick in tonight's meaningless, ridiculous, already spoiled draft. This match was actually getting very entertaining. The crowd, for some reason, was really into it. They seem to be a little bit more in favor of Roman Reigns, probably based off of what has happened due to Hell in a Cell and Seth Rollins' steadily declining popularity. But this match, in the end, meant nothing, because The Fiend came out at the beginning of SmackDown Live. He popped out from underneath the ring like The Undertaker. And for the first time, on the first of 2 times on this night, the WWE will have done something that I have said that they should do on this show in the last couple of weeks. If you watch the Hell in a Cell review, you will know that I said not for Bray Wyatt to do it, but that in the Hell in a Cell they should have did something interesting, like have The Undertaker come up from underneath the ring, take Bray Wyatt down into the depths, and then send him on that program versus The Undertaker, get him away from the Universal title because now is not the time, and if that's how you wanted to keep Seth Rollins the champion, that's how you should have done it. Now here we are, 6 days later, and Bray Wyatt is emerging from underneath the ring to swallow up Seth Rollins and bring him down to the depths of hell. Seth Rollins, for some reason, escapes. Somehow he gets loose, or I don't know, maybe the Fiend let him go. He comes back up into the ring. He's all scared. He's doing his terrible acting bit. And then the Fiend pops his head back up and he's peeking. And then he disappears. He ends up back at the entrance ramp. I could have sworn that I heard some boos in the crowd when the Fiend popped up. I think the shine has been knocked off of the character and he's going to have to re-earn everybody's interest. There was a mild pop when it was all done. But I think they're in a little bit of trouble when it comes down that water. Seth wins this one by disqualification. Not a match stoppage or any stupid shenanigans like that. This is a good old-fashioned disqualification. Roman Reigns loses on his show due to disqualification. Alright, fine. We can get past that. The sad thing is, like I said, this match was actually getting good. But aside from that, all of the rest of these matches on this night were completely unnecessary, recycled garbage. For the first time on this night, after we've seen Seth Rollins and Roman Reigns do their thing and the Fiend kidnap Seth Rollins momentarily, they showed the executives busy at work inside the war room doing all their nothing. Then they ran down the rules of the draft, which made no fucking sense at all. Stephanie McMahon came out to announce the first draft selections, and now it gets even worse because the number 1 pick in the 2019 draft is the Raw Women's Champion, Becky Lynch. What? Why is Monday Night Raw choosing a wrestler they already have as their first pick in the draft? How is it possible that she would be eligible as Raw Women's Champion in the draft to go to SmackDown? You do realize that it's not the Women's Championship and the Divas Championship anymore, right? The championship says the Raw Women's Championship. You can't have the Raw Women's Championship on Friday Night SmackDown and vice versa. So why are we wasting a number 1 pick, which could be used to maybe put somebody else in the spotlight, to just give it to a token female at this point because we have to put the females above everything to stay in the spotlight and to keep pushing the agenda? But even of all the females, why Becky Lynch? She's already going to be on Raw. It's not like there was a threat of her being drafted to SmackDown and she would have to leave her Raw Championship behind. What was with that pick? And then the same thing could be said about the first pick announced for SmackDown, which was Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns was already a member of SmackDown. He's only been there for about 6 weeks. He came over in the very recent shakeup. Monday Night Raw gets to keep the OC. All 3 of them. So the United States Championship is not moving brands. Gallows and Anderson are not moving brands. AJ Styles is not moving brands. So Raw remains the same still. Why are they being picked when he is a champion and that championship is a representation of the Monday Night Raw show? Unless it was made clear that champions can switch brands. Which in the United States Championship's case you could do that, because it's not the Raw United States Championship, but technically it is. So it doesn't make sense. And you're not changing anything by keeping them together. You just put them together, so why would you take them apart, and why would you have them move shows when they just made their home on Monday Night Raw? So a wasted second pick by Monday Night Raw. And then the first big pick that really shook anything up, which was the fourth pick on the list as we were going down, was Bray Wyatt to SmackDown Live. And I don't understand this move. It's just a matter, I guess, that Fox thinks he's cool. Fox likes The Fiend, and Fox wants The Fiend, so Fox is going to get The Fiend because they're the more expensive show. That's probably the bottom line. And that's going to be the end of it. I don't see the point. But after this first round of picks, it became very obvious to me that the wild card already has made this draft irrelevant. Think about the last couple of months of programming. Ever since they put that stupid wild card into effect, everybody's been everywhere. So even if you change it up, everything still feels exactly the same. Does it matter that Kevin Owens is moving to Monday Night Raw? No, because he's been on Monday Night Raw with his feud with Shane, so what does it matter? Shane was fired from SmackDown Live. How long is it going to be now that Kevin Owens is on Raw till we see Shane McMahon sweat his way to Monday Night Raw to get revenge on Kevin Owens now, and we have to go back down that road? Once again, the Raw Room cheering after Stephanie's announcement that they were supposedly surprised. What surprise? They're strategically making the choices. Ridiculous. Oh, my God. Oh, and the last pick of the first round that went to Monday Night Raw was Drew McIntyre. Once again, Drew McIntyre, I was under the impression, was moved to SmackDown Live, but that is not the case. And if he was moved to SmackDown Live, he's going back to Monday Night Raw already. So that was the first round of Night 1 on SmackDown. And I was already furious because most of these picks were ridiculous. You didn't do anything cool. You didn't take somebody maybe like an EC3 and bring him to SmackDown Live in the number 5 spot. You know, why not? Do something new, something different. But no, we're getting the same top card, the same top stars thrown in our faces. And Becky Lynch is not as over anymore as she used to be, by the way. Another thing I hated about this show tonight is every time we went to the Fox Sports newsroom. Not only were there 2 fucking war rooms, we had to go to the Fox newsroom, right? And we had to see Troy Aikman and Joe Buck talking about the draft. We had to see Joe Brown and Terry Bradshaw and all of these people that work for Fox that call the NFL and suck at doing that sometimes. At least in Joe Buck's part, he's a terrible broadcaster. Why are they on Monday Night Raw? Why are they breaking down the draft? Oh, we want to give it a more sports-like feel. Not with actual sports people from fucking ESPN and Fox. Do you know why I say that? Because they're not laughing with us. They're laughing at us. These people do not look at professional wrestling as a serious entity. They look at it as a joke. They look at it as just TV entertainment, the way Vince wants everybody to see it. It's a joke to them. They were in skits tonight. They were collecting paychecks. Awful. Awful choice to do that. Wasting time. Wasting precious TV time on people that have nothing to do with this show. And my biggest hope is that these little segments go away as soon as the draft goes away. If it's something they just wanted to do because we're having a draft, a sports-like draft with 2 networks involved and trying to make it seem legit, then fine. But once it's done, it's done. I don't need further analysis from more clowns that don't know what they're talking about when it comes to professional wrestling. And I feel like that they're talking down at it. They're not taking it seriously. They never covered professional wrestling before. They don't give a shit. They've covered the UFC for years. They barely do anything with wrestling, ever. Now all of a sudden they own it. They want to embrace it, and they're going to make it a part of their everything? I don't buy it. This is as bad as making us sit through a fourth matchup between King Baron Corbin and Chad Gable. Apparently Chad Gable's name, like we said, is now Shorty Gable. I'm not doing it. I was pissed off about it when we seen it coming. I'm even more pissed off about it now. You got veterans online defending this because, you know, Hurricane Helms wanted to come out there and say things like, well, you know, I didn't want to be the Hurricane, but I did what they told me. I made it work. And now everybody loves it. And he's absolutely right. That is a great way to look at it. And sure, Chad Gable has the ability to probably do that. He's going to take Shorty Gable. He probably fucking hates it. But they're going to give it to him. It's going to get him on TV. And he's going to take it. And he's going to get it over. But I don't see it that way. Especially in this climate. Just like in the Attitude Era, it was different. Now you're using something derogatory, like making fun of the man's height, and now he's going to take it, and he's going to own it, and he's going to stand up for his own rights, and he's going to be the charge for the little man. And then you just have him look like a schmuck because he just keeps losing to Baron Corbin anyway. The whole Shorty Gable thing makes me cringe like some of the worst stuff they've ever done. And I know it's not really that bad. It's just the name, dude, right? Like, get over it. It's just the name. But think about it. Chad Gable is an Olympian athlete. He is legit. He's a former tag team champion. He deserves a little respect. And I understand we're playing characters here. But this is a terrible character. And it's coming from a very terrible place. It's coming from a negative place. A place in Vince McMahon's mind where only he is laughing. And I don't like it. And I don't have to like it. And neither do you. But King Baron Corbin defeats Shorty Gable. In another matchup that is reminiscent of all of the other ones that we've seen. But Baron Corbin beats Chad Gable. Taking away all of the momentum, devaluing everything he's done to make himself look formidable in the King of the Ring. The guy was fantastic, but now I guess it's just the King has his number? No, I think this is just the eventual decline and sending Chad Gable back to the mid-card until Vince McMahon needs another short joke to laugh at. Another thing worth mentioning, since we're talking about things Vince likes to laugh at, apparently King Corbin's got a sensitivity in his nose developing because he's adopted Dean Ambrose's sense of smell, and he wants to tell the crowd how much we all stink and how we're disgusting, and he smells everything. What is with Vince and the smelling? Is his nose that big that he smells everything in the world, that he wants to torture us with characters that tell us we stink? Fucking awful. We went back to the panel on NFL on Fox talking about the draft, the first round picks, and they're talking about stars from the past. They wanted to start talking about Dusty Rhodes and Bruno Sammartino and Hogan and Flair and Andre, and they're reading a script, people. Some of these guys might have been around, some of these guys might have been fans. But they know, just as well as you and I know, that Fox Sports and ESPN and all of these other sports outlets don't give a shit about professional wrestling and have no business being on a Friday Night SmackDown or a Monday Night Raw, which we will inevitably see this coming Monday. Stephanie McMahon comes out to announce the next set of draft picks to Monday Night Raw. Randy Orton, Ricochet, and Bobby Lashley. And the USA Goons went, yes, we got Randy Orton, yes, yes, yes. SmackDown Live gets Sasha Banks and Mr. Brown Spray Tan himself, Braun Strowman. Great. Maybe it'll feel different since he will start destroying cars that are blue now instead of red. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. Then we had to waste time talking about Braun Strowman versus Tyson Fury. I did not waste any minute of my life watching that ridiculous press conference. I didn't care. And neither should you. I hope you didn't watch it either. It's not worth your time. Nothing happened but a couple of stupid stare-downs, and I don't care. It's all to hype Crown Jewel, which is a pay-per-view happening on Halloween, which I don't think I'm going to even be watching because I'd much rather be trick-or-treating with my daughter getting some delicious candy for this house than sitting there watching Cain Velasquez and Tyson Fury stink it up in a WWE ring and make me lose my lunch, most likely. This all led to a segment for Brock Lesnar and Paul Heyman to come out to the ring and cut a promo on Cain Velasquez. And this is the WWE going back 10 years in a sport that has nothing to do with theirs to build momentum for a match that's happening in a couple of weeks that absolutely nobody asked for, that nobody expected, and that I'm pretty sure none of you want to see, and I certainly don't want to see. Why would you want to see Cain Velasquez in a WWE ring? How long could he possibly be training? How much better could he be than Brock Lesnar? Is it going to be a Brock Lesnar match? Are they going to give Brock Lesnar a clean win over this guy in just a couple of minutes to make up for his embarrassing thing in the UFC all those years ago? And now it is also made clear to everybody why Rey Mysterio was involved, because they want him to have a translator. Cain Velasquez comes out there, he's talking to Brock Lesnar in Spanish. Rey Mysterio is there to translate. He said, la-di-di-blah-blah. Here's the thing, though. Cain Velasquez, as far as I know, was born in California and speaks perfect English. So why didn't he? Serious question. Just putting it out there. This was a whole bunch of wasted time, all to pump up a match that I didn't give a shit about, and I will not give a shit about. He promised Cain Velasquez, Rey Mysterio was nice enough to translate, like I said, he promised to give Lesnar a scar on the other side of his face to match the one he gave him in their fight at UFC 121. I don't care. I don't care. Next. Skip. Let's move on. And here's another interesting thing that I want to bring to your attention. Maybe went over some of your guys' heads. Some of you ladies and gentlemen might not have caught this, but Brock Lesnar is in the ring. He's making his way out of the ring after this little confrontation with Mr. Velasquez. Kofi Kingston and the New Day are sitting in the gorilla position. Kofi Kingston's all smiles. He's tossing pancakes. He's dreaming about unicorns. He's probably got Xavier Woods' horn blowing in his head. What the fuck is he so happy about? We are just like a week since losing that championship in an embarrassing fashion to Brock Lesnar. You're in the back shaking your hips and smiling? You see some idiots on the internet, oh, well, if Kofi's okay with it, shouldn't you be? No! I shouldn't be okay with it. Because even if he wants to be okay with it, he shouldn't be okay with it. Especially since the guy that he just fucking lost to is out there while he's in the back swinging his hips, flipping his pancakes in the air. Show some emotion. Show like you gave a shit about being the champion, bro. You had one of the coolest reigns of the modern generation. It was meaningful. It had some good title defenses. It might have been boring for some of you guys, but Kofi Kingston's championship reign is historic in comparison to some of the other shit we've had to see over the last couple of years. You can't tell me it's not more important than Roman's title run. It's definitely more important than Brock Lesnar's Universal Championship title run. It's way more important than Seth Rollins' championship run. And you want to sit in the back and not give a shit that you don't have your belt anymore? That you just lost like a schmuck on the first episode of Friday Night SmackDown? And now you don't care? 7 days later? I didn't like that. The New Day was only brought there to do the whole Susan G. Komen thing. Great. And then they had a 6-man tag team match with the OC. The OC, like I said, was announced as drafted to Monday Night Raw, the show they are already a part of. And now they're having this match on SmackDown. And what I'm asking you guys is, if you're going to do these fucking War Room things, why didn't you cut to the USA room when the OC got beat by the New Day and show how disappointed they were that they drafted a trio of fucking losers? That they probably were happy to have the OC, and now they went out there on SmackDown Live, the enemy show, and lost like a couple of chumps. Great choice, USA. Why don't you show us that? Show us their despair. Show us their confusion. I thought AJ Styles was phenomenal. And then the guy could take a bite of a donut and a sip of his coffee, and then you can go to fucking commercial. Fucking ridiculous, you guys. The next round of draft picks. Monday Night Raw. Alexa Bliss, Kevin Owens, and Natalya. Big whoop. Like I said, they cut to USA Network being all happy, and then they showed Fox being all upset that they didn't get biscuit buns. Oh, we didn't get the prettiest girl on the ball. Oh, what do we ever do? SmackDown's draft picks. Lacey Evans and the SmackDown Tag Team Champions, The Revival. Another wasted pick, because you're picking two guys that aren't going anywhere just based off of the fact that they have the SmackDown Tag Team Championships, which cannot be transferred to Raw. So why was this here? Why was it not Heavy Machinery drafted in a higher position, making them look better? Come on, you guys. Ridiculous. We then come back from the break. Stephanie McMahon does the fourth and final round for this evening, and the draft will continue Monday night on Raw, as you all well know. The Viking, Raider, Warrior Raiders, Nikki Cross, and the Street Profits all will remain on Monday Night Raw. And here's an interesting tidbit for you. Why was Alexa Chris and Alexa Chris, oh my god, I'm making up my own wrestlers here. Why was Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross separated in this draft, but every other tag team was not? These girls were tag team champions for a fucking long time. Are you trying to tell me without telling me that they are no longer going to be involved with one another? Because if not, why didn't they just go together if they were going to the same show anyway? Another wasted pick. You could have got two birds with one stone and then opened up a slot for somebody else. Ridiculous. SmackDown. I don't know how many times I might have said SmackDown Live during this show, and if I didn't, good for me, and if I did, I apologize. For SmackDown's draft picks in the final round. The Lucha House Party, big friggin' deal. And finally, Heavy Machinery. And Fox was happy that they were going to get to see Otis wiggle his fat and do his worm. Then we had the main event of the evening. Well, before that, we had one of the guys from Fox revealing inside scoops and possible trades and blah, blah, blah. Talking about how there's a heavy emphasis on the women's division, and then he pretends to get a phone call from The Rock, which ends up being his mother, and he's walking off camera talking to his mom, telling her about her fantasy football. I'm like, why am I still hearing this jerk off on his cell phone? These Fox Sports segments got to go. Got to go. Bayley comes out tonight, and for the second time on this evening, it became obvious to me, and I don't give a shit what anybody says. I don't fucking want to hear that they got it from Bubba Ray. I don't want to hear that you thought of it first. I know for a fact that the night Bayley turned heel, because she already turned heel, everybody. She acted like an idiot after the fact, but she turned heel with Sasha Banks' arrival and return to the WWE. That being said, I was so disappointed in that night when she made her return following that heel turn. And I laid this whole scenario out, and I told you guys, Bayley should have had new music. She shouldn't be coming out here smiling. She should put on some heavy, crazy-ass makeup. She should cut her hair, and she should pop those goddamn Bayley buddies. What happened tonight? Almost verbatim to the words that I spoke on this show. Everybody else had ideas. Oh, Bayley should have punched the Bayley buddies, and Bayley should have deflated the Bayley buddies, and Bayley should have this, and Bayley should have that. You know, as a sledgehead, where you heard it first. I know I said it first, and all I'm saying is, without a shadow of a doubt, either I am crazy psychic, or somebody somewhere listens in on this show. And I want you to know, as you're listening to me right now, whether you as my fans think I'm delusional, just enjoy this for a second, because this is for the WWE little hedgehog down there that's watching in the shadows. It's okay, bro. Take them. Take my ideas, please. I'm giving them to you because you need them. You need them. Bayley and her entrance on this show was the only good thing about this show. The only good thing. Bayley making that little bit further step into the darkness. Bayley didn't turn heel tonight, everybody. She just changed her gimmick tonight. She's been heel with Sasha for weeks. You just might not have been able to see it behind the phony smiles. And I knew it was coming after the temper tantrum last week, and I'm into it. I think it's great. What I don't think is great is the fact that they had Bayley drop the title to Charlotte Flair just a few days ago. We're not even 7 days from Hell in a Cell. Only to give it back to Bayley on SmackDown Live, which makes Bayley look like an idiot because she lost at the pay-per-view, and it's blind. I mean, it's not blind. It's not blind. It's not the word. You'd have to be blind to not see that the only reason the WWE did this was to give Charlotte Flair that even number 10. And why is it so necessary to accomplish this in such a short amount of time? Why couldn't it have happened generically? And she could have got that 10th title reign off of somebody meaningful, in a meaningful story that people maybe could have got behind, and then give her a championship reign that matters. What does it matter that she won the championship for the 10th time when she lost it 6 days later? We're already seeing that return back to the flip-flopping hot potato championship of the Raw Women's Championship days between Sasha and Charlotte. Is that what we're going here? Or we just had to give her the number 10 before we have this split? Why? She's still going to be going for championships on Monday Night Raw, is she not? If she moves to Raw, she's going to be going for the Raw Championship. She can get number 10 there. What the hell is the rush? People always say, oh, Ric Flair, 27-time World Heavyweight Champion altogether. If you really count it. Not 16 times like the WWE says, 17. Actually, it's not 27. It's 22 or 23, whatever the number is. But, yeah, that's impressive. But it also means that you lost the title 20-plus times in your life. And if I'm being honest, and I'm putting my wrestling career on the line here, if it were me, I would much rather have one solid 300, 400 plus day championship run at the top where nobody could beat me and I was the dominant champion for almost a full year or whatever the length of time it may be. Something like they did with Pete Dunne. Something like they did in NXT with Finn Balor. Give me a long, meaningful championship run and my name will go down in history for a multitude of reasons. Make me constantly lose and win, I look like a loser. Sure, I could win championships and I have an X amount of number of championships and I'm always at the top and I'm always, you know, in the picture because I keep winning it and losing it and winning it and losing it and winning it and losing it. far less impressive, in my opinion. You could be the 15-time champion in the course of 2 years, or you could be a champion once and hold it for a year and a half. What would you pick? Drop your hammers down in the comment section and let me know. This match was, again, another rematch that we just seen a few days ago. It was almost the exact same match, only the dichotomy was different. Bayley was much more aggressive. She was much more wrestling with a heel style, but it was a little off-putting because isn't Charlotte still the Queen of Mean right now? Isn't she still natural selection, Ric Flair's daughter, being the baddest bitch in the back, walking around doing her woo thing? When did Charlotte Flair turn babyface? When she teamed up with Becky Lynch? They're not getting along. So where is Charlotte? She's seemingly lost right now. Not only did she lose the championship, but she's lost. She's lost in the scuffle. I don't understand. I really don't understand. It was only to give her her 10th championship reign. Otherwise, for what reason did this happen? Bayley should have retained the championship and then just came out tonight as this badass. Be like, yeah, I beat your ass, and now nobody's going to beat me because I know who I am, and I'm confident, and I'm this, and I'm that, and I got my best friend, I got my Sasha. Everybody's thinking that Sasha's going to turn babyface, and now we're going to get Sasha versus Bayley, only this time Bayley's going to be evil and Sasha's going to be good. And that might be interesting, but that's a little off for me. I want to see Sasha Banks be evil. That's where she shines, that's where she thrives, that's where she needs to be. So Sasha, the legit boss, needs to be a heel. Bayley doesn't need to be anything. Bayley could be an in-betweener. Bayley could be going through a mental breakdown right now, and they have this whole little spat between each other, and then we can have that rivalry that we all want to see between these two. But I'm not going to be a huge fan of it if they turn Sasha into the good Sasha again, because we're just really getting started, and I think it would be much better to see the Boss and Connection do their heel thing as a team. Maybe it'll be interesting. Maybe we will see them gain the Women's Tag Team Championships back and do something meaningful and actually give it the prestige they wanted to give it the first time. I would be open for that as well. But that remains to be seen. Bayley took this matchup, took the championship. Charlotte Flair loses, probably going to end up being drafted to Monday Night Raw. After the match, Bayley grabs the microphone and says, "Hey, bitches!" Calls the fans a bunch of bitches. I don't know if she's calling the fans a bunch of bitches, or if she was calling out all the bitches in the back and all the girls on the roster. "Hey, bitches!" And then she told them all, "Screw you." SmackDown goes off the air. The first night of the draft goes off like an atom bomb in my brain, and it was a complete and total disaster. From the leak of the list of names all the way down to the execution of the show, and 99.9% of this show being rematches, with the other 1% of the show being all Fox News and Fox versus USA in the War Room. Awful. An awful start to a new era of professional wrestling when it comes to SmackDown Live and Monday Night Raw. We were looking forward, and that's the scary part, we were looking forward to this, you guys. We wanted this. We asked for this. We prayed for the change. Please, just shake things up. Please. Please, can we have a draft? Please. This is what we get. And there's much more to come. And I hope you guys stick with me through it till the end, because it's going to be rough. If this was just night one, it's going to be a bumpy ride. So allow me to be the captain on this boat that we're sailing on through this river of shit that we call the WWE, as they continue to try to straighten the path. Actually, I say that, but really, they're not even trying, are they? I don't think so. That's going to be the end of tonight's review. Don't forget to check out everything else on the busiest week of pro wrestling there has ever been. It has been nonstop. We have got everything wrong with the Hell in a Cell pay-per-view. Everything wrong with Monday Night Raw, everything wrong with AEW, everything wrong with NXT, and now this one that you're watching right now, everything wrong with SmackDown Live. Don't forget to watch anything that you missed, and also don't forget to be here tomorrow night as the Everything Wrong train continues to roll down the track, and I give you the Everything Wrong with the Wednesday Night War week number 2, and it's going to be a whole different, whole new kind of review. It's not going to be one of these 40-minute long diatribes of me tearing these shows apart, because those are already up here on this show. This is going to be done with a little bit more fun, a little bit more panache, and you're going to have to check it out and tune in to find out who won week number 2 in this reviewer's point of view, and I hope to see you there. So in order to not miss it, make sure you are subscribed to this channel, hit that notification bell. Thank you all once again for getting us over the 2,000 subscriber mark as we continue on the march to 3K and beyond. Let's try to get there even faster this time, and the only way I could do that is with a super awesome wrestling fan just like you. So don't forget to hit that subscribe button to join the Sledgehead Army today. Smash that like button if you enjoyed anything that we had to say tonight. If you enjoyed anything at all tonight about SmackDown Live, you could hit the like button as well, but I don't know how much you could possibly enjoy. Make sure that you drop your hammers down in the comments section below. Use the little hammer emoji to start it off, and let me know what about tonight's WWE draft pissed you off the most. I look forward to it. I loved that we did that with the AEW and the NXT review, and it went off without a hitch. You guys were dropping your hammers left and right, maybe even harder than I was, and it was absolutely great, and I want to see more of that, so let me get those comments down there. It definitely helps the show out as well, and I always look forward to hearing what you guys have to say. And don't forget as well to share this video with each and every one of your wrestling buddies all over the wrestling world, especially if they're as disappointed with the draft as we are, and you could direct them to a place where they can maybe wrap their head around it a little bit better, and maybe we could even calm them down just a little bit, and invite them along as well to become part of the newest, coolest, fastest rising faction of wrestling fans in the entire YouTube wrestling community. They are the Sledgeheads of Sledgehammer TV, the loyal soldiers right here of the Sledgehammer Wrestling Show, and I love each and every one of yous. All 2,005 of yous. Oh, sounds so good to say that. 2,000. My name is Nick Nightmare. This is the team Thor the Sledgehammer, the official Sledgehammer of the Sledgehammer Wrestling Show. His tag team partner, the World Heavyweight Champion of all the microphones in all the world, Mr. Blue the Snowball. The most important member of the team, as always, is each and every one of you. That is going to do it, and we are out of here. And we will see you next time right here on your new favorite wrestling show, the Sledgehammer Wrestling Show, only on Sledgehammer TV, right here on YouTube.com. Boom.